Hey guys, it's Eric at Solution Prep, and today I'm breaking down some important parts of the new Common App. If you've logged in lately at commonapp.org, you may have noticed the website got a big facelift. A lot of the visuals are different, but a lot of the functionality remains the same. Now, the biggest mistake families make about the Common App, which is the most widely accepted college application, accepted by over 1,000 colleges out of America's over 3,000 colleges, is assuming that if their colleges are on the Common App, they only have to do the Common App portion and they're done with all of those schools. But as you're going to see today, that's just not the case. In today's video, we're going to focus on breaking down two big parts of your project. One, deadlines, finding them and getting them organized so you can manage your project. And two, essays, finding all the school-specific supplements you may need to write before you can submit those applications. And we're going to call all supplements essays today. So deadlines and essays, that's our focus. Now, for our students, we've created a folder for them so they can get organized. And if you're one of our students, you should have this after attending our college admissions and essays workshop. And if you're not one of our students, it's not that hard to build in Google Drive. We've got some folders here to organize different parts of our projects. We also have a few different documents down here, including our college application spreadsheet, where we're going to spend a lot of our time today, and an application resume template that we're going to show you toward the end of this video where we're going to put that. So let's start by opening up our college application spreadsheet, and we're going to put in a bunch of colleges. Now, I've selected these schools not necessarily because they're the best colleges in America, though certainly some of them are, but because they're going to give us a wide array of the different hiding places where your essays may be. That way you leave no stone unturned and you find everything you need to find. So I could break down all of these columns. I'm really going to focus on a few of them today. Let's start with the B column. Which application is this college on? And because today's video is about the Common App, I'm going to go ahead and drag so they all say Common App. Next, we're going to spend a good amount of time talking about deadlines, including writing deadlines, final deadlines, and what kind of application you're submitting. Let's take a look at that now. In Common App, you're going to see there's a My Colleges section here and here. So if you haven't yet, create a Common App account, go to the college search and add all the colleges you are applying to or might be applying to, and let's take a look. So I'm going to go to My Colleges, and I'm going to start with Carnegie Mellon. And I'm going to click on college information right here. And we're going to see the deadlines. There are two different kinds of deadlines. There's early decision, which is binding, and there's regular decision, which is not. Early decision can increase your chance of admission at a lot of colleges, but you can only apply to one college early decision because you, a parent, and a guidance counselor will have to sign that if you are accepted there, you will withdraw your applications from all other colleges, even if you haven't heard from them yet, because you will go to this college. So don't select that unless you're absolutely positive you're going to go there if accepted. And that includes taking the time to go to their website, look at the net price calculator, and confirming this college will be within your budget. Now, I'm not ready to commit to Carnegie Mellon, so I'm going to go regular decision. I'm going to copy the deadline, which is January 5th. Copy that, and let's go to our spreadsheet. And for Carnegie Mellon, under final deadline, let's paste January 5th. Let's take a look at another college. Let's go down to Rutgers for a moment. And I'll click on college information and we'll see their deadlines. Now, Rutgers also has actually 3 deadlines, but the deadlines for Rutgers are early action, which is non-binding, where you still get a little bit of a leg up in the admissions process. But if they accept you, you can wait until May 1st to decide whether or not you'll go there. Then they have their regular decision, which is December 1st. Yes, some colleges' regular decisions are due as soon as December 1st, and then rolling admission, which is January 15th. Now, for this particular college, you do want to apply no later than the regular decision deadline, because after that, they're only considering students on a space available basis. But for Rutgers, I'm going to go with early action, copy that, and let's go to Rutgers, and we'll paste it right here. Now, as we do this, we want to do a couple of things. We want to also mark what kind of application this is. For Carnegie Mellon, it was regular. For Rutgers, it was early action. What we also want to do is click on this column with the deadlines, click on Format, Numbers, and we're going to go down to Date. And look at that. It turns it all into a date. And the benefit of that is that once we have everything filled in, we'll then be able to sort everything by when it is due. So one by one, every college on your list, find out when is the application, which application is right for you, put it here into your spreadsheet. Keep this project going. I'm not going to bore you with every single one, but you got to keep going. Next, you want to think about your writing deadline. The writing deadline for you should be before the final deadline because you're not the only person contributing to your college application. Guidance also needs time to submit things like your transcript and your letters of recommendation. Also, sometimes once you apply to a college, they say, hey, thanks for the application, but now here's an extra essay or two to write. And shouldn't that have been in the application? But surprise, sometimes it comes after. Or they might invite you to apply for the honors college after. Or, maybe you just blow through your deadline because life happens and you're busy. But if you set your writing deadline a month before your final deadline, you will always make your deadlines. So that's what I'm going to do over here. All right, so far we filled in our final deadline for every college on our list, what kind of application, and then our writing deadline a month before so we don't have problems. Okay? All right, do that for every college. Now let's start talking about what are the essays. So I'm going to go over here. Let's go back to Carnegie Mellon for a moment. And Carnegie Mellon is an interesting school because they have their college information. They have all the different sections of their application. But then below that, they have sections for writing supplements, meaning the writing is in a separate place. Let's click on writing questions and let's notice that there are essays. We got a 300-word essay, we got a 300-word essay, and we've got a 300-word essay. That's three 300-word essays. Let's go to our spreadsheet. And I have a little key here where I've chosen that any essay 350 words or longer, I'm going to call long. Any essay shorter than 350 words, I'm going to call a short essay. And anything shorter than 150 words, I'm going to call a micro essay. You can make up whatever numbers work for you. But for Carnegie Mellon, I'm going to note I've got 3 short. And that's going into our supplement summary. That way, at a glance, I can see what is this project? And because I haven't written any of these yet, in drafted, I'm going to put 0 of 3. And in final, I'm going to put 0 of 3. The beauty is while you work your way through this project, once you have, something drafted, but you're not really finished with it yet, you can update this so you have an idea of your progress. But then once you or an adult or whoever you're working with has gone over it with a fine-tooth comb and you're sure you are ready to submit this application, you can then change your final and update that as well. Keep it moving. Okay, let's also start organizing these prompts. So I'm going to go to my essays in progress folder, and I'm going to create a new document. Create and share. And I'm going to call this all the prompts or whatever you want to name it. It's up to you. And I'm going to put CMU for Carnegie Mellon. And then I'm going to take the prompts. Let's go. We've got this one, 300 words. Copy, paste. We've got this second one. Notice I'm not reading them as I go. I'm just copying and pasting. I will eventually have to read them, but I'm like an assembly line right now. Let's do the first step, then let's do the second step, so on and so forth. Okay, so I've got my 3 prompts over here. All right, later I will read them, but right now I'm a man on a mission. Let's take a look at George Washington University. George Washington University also has their writing in this separate place over here. Now, 2 things I want to talk to you about. One is that when a school has their writing in this separate place, it means you need to submit the application twice. Review and submit the Common App, but then also review and submit the writing supplement. So don't forget to do that because your application isn't complete without it. The second thing I want to show you is here for GW, there's a green check for writing questions, but I haven't written anything yet. Am I done already? What that means is this is an optional essay. But when a college has an optional essay, you want to see that word optional as opportunity, as in you have the opportunity to stand out from among other students who didn't put in the extra work. Now, for this one, we can choose. We have 2 different essay prompts, and we're only going to choose one of them. So for now, I'm going to take them both, copy, and I'm going to go here to my all the prompts, and GW, and then paste. Okay, now I don't know the length yet, so let's go back and see if we can find that. It doesn't actually say the length, but if I click on either one of these, boom, 500 words. So that's going to be a long essay. So let's do a couple of things. Let's copy this. Let's paste it into all the prompts. Let's go to our application spreadsheet, and for George Washington, we're going to say we have to write one long, of which we've written nothing, and I'll keep this moving. Now, something else you can do that's kind of neat, because eventually this document can kind of get away from you, is you can click on a college name and change from normal text to heading. And look what it just did. Now we have CMU over here on the left. Let's do the same thing for GW, and I'll show you what that's going to do for us. Now, GW is added to the list. So when I want to get from one college to the next, I can just click on CMU, and it brings me up to Carnegie Mellon. I click GW, it brings me down to George Washington. It's a really helpful way to keep yourself organized and be able to find all of your things. Something else you can do if you want to get organized is you can take your CMU essays and you can go to a folder for school specific, and we can create a new folder just for CMU. And then inside that folder, we can make a new document, create and share, paste, and there's our new document, right? And I can title this CMU prompts. So as I'm actually working on essays, I can do that here. And that way I don't tell one college why I'm very excited to attend a different college, because I'm working on them in separate places. Okay. One more neat thing you can do when you've gotten organized like this, you can click the three dots and you can click share and copy the link, and watch what's going to happen when I go back to my all the prompts is I can paste this ugly link, and as soon as I hit tab, it makes a link. And that way, from my all the prompts, I can get back and forth to my Carnegie Mellon document in my Carnegie Mellon folder. Very helpful stuff. Okay, let's take a look at Lehi. Lehi is a little different because Lehi doesn't have a separate place for the essay to submit. They have a writing section over here. So that's where I will click, not in the separate place where you're going to submit that. Okay, and for here, I've got, how did you first learn about Lehi? I could copy and paste 200 words. Another essay here that's 200 words. So yes, you would copy and paste into your all the prompts document. I'm not going to make you watch me do that for all of them, but I am going to go over here to my spreadsheet for Lehi, and I'm going to write too short, of which I've written 0 of 2 and finalized 0 of 2. Once you've kind of done the whole thing, something else you can do to manage your bigger project is right down here at the bottom of these columns is you can total up how many essays you've actually got. So right now I've got 0 of 6 and I've finished 0 of 6. I wouldn't do it along the way. I would do it at the end. But that way, throughout your project, you can see how much more you have to go, not just for each individual school, but for all of the schools right there at the bottom. Okay, this is very helpful stuff for staying organized. Okay, let's take a look now at Northwestern. Northwestern is an interesting one. If you go to college information for any college and you scroll down, it says writing requirements. Okay, well, let's click on writing requirements. So there's the Common App essay, which is optional, which you should definitely do. Then there's one required question, just one, and then just additional details. Okay, great. Good to know. So let's take a look at where Northwestern says writing. Now it says supplements, plural, and that seems weird because didn't they say there was only one? Well, we've got a whole bunch of text you should definitely read. All right, and then we've got a 300-word essay. There's the essay. But then, we encourage you to answer at least one and no more than two of the following questions, 200 words. We have 5 more prompts, and you can choose this one and you can choose this one. But if you choose the third one, it's going to say, no, don't do that. And you can X out of that one, make it gone. But it said there was one essay, but they lied. There were 3 essays. One's required, 2 are optional. You should write them all. So we go to our spreadsheet, put 3 short, update the whole thing. I'm not going to make you watch me do that every single time, but I do want to show you where these things may be hiding. Okay, let's take a look at Baylor. Baylor does something similar, But in their college information, down here where it says writing requirements, there's one optional question, just a question. And then I click on writing. And that optional question is a 450, why do you want to attend Baylor essay, right? So that's going to be a long essay. Do not think that just because a college says there's no required writing, that you don't actually have essays to write, because you do. So copy them, bring them into your all the prompts, put them into your supplement summary, count them up in what's drafted, what's final. Keep this project moving. Okay, Princeton is another fun one, because Princeton under writing, oh, it's not open yet. Why isn't it open yet? Because historically, Princeton doesn't open until September 1st. So you may see this on some of your schools. Now, ultimately, Princeton usually has a long essay, a short essay, and then 3 micro essays. So we could, if we could see them right now, which we can't, we could go to Princeton and we could put 1 long, 1 short, 3 micro. And that's what we'd have to do. Okay? But don't panic if some of these schools are not open yet. Just work on what you can work on and don't worry yet about what you can't. All right, let's go over to University of Maryland. University of Maryland has a little bit of a wrinkle. First of all, they have so many sections. So many sections. All right, we've got short answer. They call it short answer. They don't call it writing. They call it short answer. Let's click on that. And looks like their stuff's not ready yet either. But I will tell you, historically, University of Maryland has 5 short answer questions, and then at the bottom, a why this college essay that does not give you the length. And if a college does not give you the length, you can reach out to a college, find out who is your representative for your county, for your state, for your region, and say, hi, I'm working on my application, and I wanted to know, what length would you recommend for this supplement? Don't say require, because that sounds like you're trying to get off light, but recommend. You're looking for their feedback, and that's very helpful. And they'll give you an answer, and they'll make some notes that you called and you're interested and you were polite. So be nice to everybody. Okay. But what's neat about their short answers is that they're actually just a number of characters, typically 650 characters. And so if you do see something that is a number of characters, we're going to call those micro essays for the sake of this project. Let's take a look at High Point. High Point gets even shadier about where they hide their essay. It doesn't say short answer. Here, it doesn't say anything except activities. When you go to activities, oh, would you look at this? Here's a 50-word essay. Here's a 50-word essay. Here's a 50-word essay. And a lot of students think, oh, it's only 50 words. It'll be easy. But let me assure you, the shorter they are, the harder they are to write something meaningful, right? To write 50 potent words that get a big idea across. So don't put them off till the end and don't underestimate them. Okay, let's go over to Drexel for a minute, because Drexel has a very interesting note. When you go to their college information and you see writing requirements, it says applicants who select certain first choice majors in the academic section will be required to complete an additional writing question using the prompt below. Here's the prompt. Right? But is that for you? Now, some colleges will tell you this, and some colleges will not tell you this, but it is still true. Guys, the Common App is dynamic. So questions populate based on your answers to other questions, which means before you can know for sure that you have truly found all of your essays, you need to answer some basic questions like your starting term, your campus, your major, whether or not you're going to apply for the honors college. All of these questions may populate new essays for you to write. So when you found everything you think you can find, go through and answer those questions and see if anything new pops up. Let's take a look at Penn State, because they're notorious for that. And when we see those questions, let's see, type of degree, 4-year, see how these new questions pop up. I'll pick the first, accounting BS. Okay, now look over here on the left. We have a writing section, right? We have it. But then when I click on, let's pick a campus like University Park. Oh, did you see what just happened? Schreyer's Honors College. Click on that, and you may be surprised to find how many supplements. We have one 800-word essay, one 200-word essay, 200 words, 200 words, 200 words, 200 words, 7 8. Oh my goodness, 9, 10. Holy smokes, 10 supplements. All right, so let's be so careful. Now, you may not know yet if you're looking to apply to an honors college, which almost every college has something like an honors college, and they all come with a combination of benefits to you as a student and requirements of you as a student, and some, yes, requirements to you as an applicant to write these essays. So for now, if you're unsure, just say yes and copy and paste all the essays into your all the prompts document. You can always decide later you're not going to do it. And if you see 10 essays and you're like, never mind, that's okay. You can make the choice now. But if you're unsure, definitely put all the prompts in, because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to think you're done and ready to submit, only to answer some questions and surprise a bunch of essays, and you didn't leave yourself enough time to get it done. Okay, let's look at one more college. I'm going to go back to Rutgers here for a moment, because with Rutgers in the writing section, it's just yes or no questions. Oh, Rutgers also not open yet. Guys, I'm trying to get this done super early. Rutgers traditionally opens in like the middle of August. They're not open just yet. But you'll see that in the Rutgers writing section, when it does open, it's a series of yes or no's. And if you say yes, then there's a box with an essay to write. Those questions could be, have you ever been convicted of a crime? Have you ever been subject to disciplinary action in your school, for like cheating or suspended for fighting or whatever? And so you have to answer those questions to find out what essays you may need to write. So this is a very big project, and I want you guys to get working on this right now. Get it done like today, tomorrow. That way you can get moving on everything that comes after it. Okay, you can put the major as you work your way through. You can decide whether or not you're going to submit scores by looking at what their interquartile range is or relying on guidance from those schools. You can decide if it's a safety, fit, or reach school. But guys, let's do one more thing. Take a look at the resume. Some schools give you a place to upload a resume, and usually it's in the activities section. Okay, so if a college has an activities section and in it, it says, if you have a resume you'd like to upload, put it here. You should put yes. So University of Maryland, which is not open yet, but I know they're going to ask for a resume. I'm going to say yes. Historically, it's got one, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Guys, I'm getting this video done literally like within hours of the Common App open. So make a big document, all of your prompts, get super organized with your spreadsheet. You can get more creative with the individual folders. What else you can do is, once you've made all the prompts, then you can start reading some of those prompts. And what you might notice is some of those questions are pretty similar. They might ask, why are you interested in this major? Or why are you interested in this college? Or something like that. And some of those may be ideas that you can write once and then adjust and repurpose. So you could create a new document for, let's say, your why this major. And then you can take every prompt that is of that ilk and just paste, right? Paste, 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 and put them all in one place. That way, as you're working on that essay, you can think about all the different schools that are asking you to write it. So guys, that's what I wanted to show you in today's video. There's so much work ahead of you. Get moving on it. And if you have questions, call us at 732-556-8220. We are here to help.